How Navy SEALs actually train not like Instagram. Rogan tie-in. A Joe Rogan-style reality check on what elite training really means. Scroll Instagram long enough, and you'll think Navy SEAL training is just brutal workouts, ice baths, and inspirational quotes layered over slow-motion pull-ups, sledgehammers, rope climbs, guys screaming in the rain. It looks hard, and it is, but that surface-level brutality misses the point entirely. Real SEAL training has very little to do with chasing pain for its own sake. What Navy SEALs actually train for is something far darker, quieter, and more immersive. They train for a game where the penalty for losing isn't embarrassment or quitting, it's death. And not just their own, but the deaths of teammates, civilians, and families who will never understand why a masked man with a flag on his shoulder kicked in a door at 2 a.m. That reality changes everything about how they train. Training like it's the most dangerous game you'll ever play. One of the most honest descriptions of SEAL preparation isn't about workouts at all. It's about obsession. You have to treat it like it's the most dangerous game you'll ever play. Really immerse yourself in it. Live it all day, every day. This isn't metaphorical. SEALs don't train in neat blocks labeled fitness, tactics, and mindset. Those distinctions dissolve. Training becomes life. Life becomes training. When a SEAL says he studied a target for months, staring at the same face every day, memorizing habits, routines, family members, that's not exaggeration. That level of immersion is deliberate. By the time the mission happens, the brain has already lived it 1,000 times. This is where Instagram fails. You can't photograph obsession. You can't film the quiet mental loop of imagining every possible failure, every possible angle, every mistake that could get someone killed. Physical training is just table stakes. Yes, SEALs are in elite physical shape, but that's the baseline, not the differentiator. In BUD/S, the physical standards don't just increase, they compound. Runs get faster while bodies get more broken. Push-ups increase as sleep disappears. You're not getting stronger because you're fresh. You're getting stronger while depleted. That's the point. But here's the part people miss. The workouts themselves aren't magical. Running, swimming, calisthenics, rucking, none of this is exotic. What makes it different is the context. You're never training fresh. You're never training comfortably. You're never training without consequence. You're running because if you fall behind, you don't just fail, you drag your team with you. That pressure rewires behavior. The real objective: stress inoculation. Joe Rogan has circled this idea for years in conversations with operators. SEAL training is less about creating supermen and more about stress-proofing decision-making. You're cold, you're exhausted, you're starving. Someone is screaming in your face. Now solve a problem. Now make a decision. Now don't panic. In combat, the body doesn't rise to the occasion. It falls to the level of training. That's not a quote for motivation posters. It's a physiological reality. Under extreme stress, fine motor skills degrade, vision narrows, and time distorts. So SEALs train until the stress feels familiar. That's why the best guys look eerily calm when things go sideways. Their nervous systems have been there before, thousands of times. Method: acting for violence. One of the most revealing insights from SEALs is how they approach training like method actors. You won't know the difference between training and reality. That's not accidental. When training is realistic enough, the brain stops categorizing it as practice. Mannerisms don't change. Movement doesn't change. Emotional response doesn't change. Paint rounds flying in training produce the same body response as real bullets in Afghanistan. That's the goal. When people romanticize SEALs as fearless, they miss the truth. Fear never disappears. What disappears is hesitation. Training removes novelty, and novelty is what causes panic. The human cost. They don't show you. Here's the part you will never see on social media. Clearing a target doesn't end when the gunfire stops. You clear rooms, you neutralize the threat, and then you watch the aftermath. Children screaming over a body, wives collapsing, grandparents wailing. They don't know what that man did at night. They only know that someone with your flag killed their father. SEALs aren't trained to be emotionless machines. They're trained to function despite emotion. Some operators describe picking up children, handing out glow sticks or candy, knowing how absurd it is. Knowing that to that child, you're the monster, no matter what the intelligence packet said. That reality haunts people far more than workouts ever could. Control what you can control. One of the deepest lessons SEALs learn, and one Rogan often emphasizes, is the brutal acceptance of uncertainty. You can be the best trained person on Earth and still die from bad timing. Helicopters get shot down. Convoys get hit. The best pilots in the world don't get a second chance. So how do you live with that? By obsessing over what is controllable. Your preparation, your fitness, your attention to detail, your discipline, your team's readiness. Once you've exhausted every controllable variable, you let go of the rest. That mindset is what prevents paralysis. It's what keeps confidence intact without drifting into arrogance. Daily discipline beats heroic effort. Contrary to the Hollywood version, SEAL life isn't constant chaos. Much of it is brutally mundane. Wake up at the same time. Cold plunge. Train. Walk. The real takeaway for civilians. You don't need to train like a Navy SEAL. But there's a lesson worth stealing. Treat your craft like it matters, because it does. Whether it's business, fitness, fatherhood, or art. The SEAL mindset isn't about suffering, it's about commitment. Immersion, eliminating the gap between practice and performance. When training becomes indistinguishable from reality, pressure stops breaking you. That's how Navy SEALs actually train. Not for Instagram, not for applause, but because in their world, failure is permanent, and preparation is the only mercy available.